Is it really possible to come back from a nightmare childhood, prison, bankruptcy, multiple divorces, and overturn a lifetime of alcohol and cocaine addiction in your 50s? Well, it certainly is, and Mike Tyson is the living proof. You'll get the full story in today's video. Just before we get into the video, if you want to get access to the free video training showing you how to control your drinking without AA or willpower, click the link in the description. I'll be showing you how to use the mental model called first principles thinking to get control of your drinking. I'll be talking about the 5 critical mistakes that 90% of drinkers make, and I'll also be sharing the 2 phases of becoming sober clear. You do not want to miss that training video. It will change your mindset around drinking forever so you can start getting your health, career, confidence, and relationships back on track. Click the link in the description for instant access. So, who is Mike Tyson? From a young age, Mike Tyson was destined for boxing greatness. After being spotted by a local boxing coach in his native Brooklyn, he was soon being coached by a legendary trainer, D'Amato. Tyson would make his professional debut in March of 1985 at just 18 years of age, winning by first round knockout. After racking up an astonishing 27 wins over the next 20 months, he would go on to face Trevor Burnick for the World Championship. With his second round knockout of Burbick, Tyson would become the youngest heavyweight champion ever, and he was only 20 years of age. Over the next 4 years, the young Tyson would go on to terrorize boxing's heavyweight division, amassing a perfect 37-0 record. Most of these wins would come through brutal knockouts. The entire world watched, mesmerized at Tyson's never-before speed, power, and defensive skills. All this made him a seemingly unstoppable force. But in February of 1990, in what became one of the biggest upsets in sporting history, Tyson would lose his belt to 30-year-old Buster Douglas. At the time, Tyson was a 42-1 favorite. The following year, before he could reclaim his title, Tyson was arrested for raping an 18-year-old girl he had invited to his hotel room. Tyson has always denied the accusation, saying the sex was consensual. Sentenced to 6 years in prison, he would only serve 3, before being released in 1995. Though he managed to briefly recapture the heavyweight title once again the following year, he was never the same fighter. After suffering several losses over the next few years, he finally retired in 2005. Now, despite having one of the most celebrated boxing careers of all time, as well as earning many hundreds of millions of dollars, Tyson has often described his life as a complete failure. Born in Brooklyn, his father left the family when the young Mike was only a few months old. His mother struggled to raise him and his 2 siblings, and he was forced to routinely witness violent incidents between his mother and the various men that she brought to the house. Living on the rough streets of New York, Tyson had to learn to fight, and before long he got into trouble with the law. By his account, by the time he was just 11 years of age, he had been arrested 38 times, mostly for pickpocketing and burglaries. His mother sadly died when he was 16, only 2 years before his professional debut. To this day, one of his big regrets is that his mother never saw him happy or proud of him. All she knew of him was a kid who was always in trouble. Drugs and alcohol have been an almost permanent fixture of Mike Tyson's life. He was given alcohol even as his child, and he first tried cocaine when he was just 11. He continued abusing alcohol and cocaine throughout his heyday as the heavyweight champion of the world in the mid and late 1980s, and then all the way to his 2005 retirement. Sometimes, like in his 2000 fight against Lou Savarese, Tyson would consume cocaine right before stepping into the ring. Now, astonishingly, that didn't prevent him from winning that fight only 38 seconds into the first round. To pass all the drug tests before and after his fights, Tyson would use what he calls his whizzer, a prosthetic penis with somebody else's urine. On occasion, the urine was of his own baby. In his 2000 fight with Andrew Galota, he didn't have time to use the whizzer, leading to a positive drug test. Even though he had easily won his fight in the ring, his victory was overturned to a no contest. In 2006, he was arrested on suspicion of a DUI and felony drug possession of cocaine. Fueled by his drug and alcohol addiction, Tyson would go on spending tremendous amounts of money. Earning as much as $60 million a fight, Tyson managed to blow it all on things like a massive entourage, a fleet of cars, jewelry, and even a pet zoo. On one occasion, after crashing one of his Bentleys, he actually told the cops that arrived on the scene just to keep it. Now, he filed for bankruptcy in 2003 after having squandered a fortune of around $400 million. Many details of Tyson's drug and alcohol addiction were publicly available over the years, and Tyson himself was generally straightforward about it. For a few years after he retired from boxing, Tyson seemed to have beat his addiction. But in a shocking 2013 press conference, Tyson announced to the stunned reporters that he had relapsed again.
I'm on the verge of dying because I'm a vicious alcoholic. I've been, God, this is some interesting stuff. I haven't took drugs in 6 days. And for me, that's a miracle. I've been lying to everybody else and think I was sober, but I'm not. This is my 6th day. I'm never going to use again.
Tyson would then elaborate on this in an interview with NBC's Matt Lauer.
I haven't drank for 4.5 years, and I took a drink, and I started drinking. I just started chugging them. Wing, 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 wing.
After 4.5 years of sobriety, what was it that got you to take that drink?
I don't know, too much stuff coming at me. I'm doing my auto documentary. Everything just started creeping up on me, hitting me, boom. I started going to my old neighborhood, and I started dealing with old wounds that opened up, and it was just overwhelming.
What you said at the press conference, you said you'd been lying to everyone about being sober, that you were on the verge of dying because you're a vicious alcoholic.
Yeah.
Did you mean those words? You say people blew it out of proportion, but talk to me about that choice of words.
Those are the words I use because sometimes I don't want to live when I'm in that state. It's just really difficult to discuss. I don't know. I'm not experienced enough in my recovery to really pinpoint it.
I went back and I read some interviews you've done over the years. And you know what I found, Mike? I found references on your part to suicide dating all the way back to the late 1980s. This is something that's come up from time to time in your life. How much do you think about it?
Not that much. It's just sometimes if I get drunk, I'm just not the same guy. So I just need to see my friends and see my sponsors and talk to them.
And so it's something you've struggled with your whole life?
My whole entire life, yeah.
The turning point for Mike came in 2019. That year, he decided enough was enough. In another interview, he had the following to say.
You're kind of a different dude compared to what you are now.
What was that back then? Tell me about this shit.
Maybe you weren't comfortable with it. You let the other guy do like all the talking. And you were just kind of like there for the ride?
That must have been my cocaine days and stuff.
Maybe.
Yeah,
some would say the good days.
I don't know. I won't say that. But those are the days that I was just zoned out.
Yeah, you were kind of zoned out. And then when they told me you were going to do the hot box, I'm like, oh, well, we'll see how that goes. And then it's freaking taken off, man.
That's because I stopped doing cocaine and drinking and everything. No, I'm serious, man.
Yeah, really?
Everything changed, yeah.
Really? Changed your life?
My whole life.
At the same time that he was kicking alcohol and cocaine, Tyson was making a dramatic fitness comeback. After not having trained for nearly 15 years, he went back to the gym, got in shape, and returned for an exhibition fight against another boxing legend, Roy Jones Jr. Though Tyson has kicked alcohol and cocaine, Tyson has not given up cannabis. In fact, shortly after cannabis became legal in California in 2016, Tyson entered the cannabis business. His company sells a variety of marijuana products and sales are booming, earning him over $600,000 a month. Recently, Tyson's company launched a new brand of cannabis-infused edibles called Mike Bites. I had no idea about this before researching this video, but they're shaped as ears, which is a reference to one of the most infamous moments in Tyson's career, when he bit off a piece of Evander Holyfield's ear in 1996. In a recent interview, Tyson opened up about how he got into the cannabis business. He also credited cannabis for helping him find peace.
What made you want to get into this space commercially?
Well, listen, Megan, I was talking to a friend. I was in Thailand. We were shooting a movie, and he was discussing doing cannabis as an enterprise. And I didn't believe it. I didn't want to go for it. It became real.
What has it done for you? Obviously, you've gone through a lot of fights, a lot of pain, physical and otherwise.
Absolutely. It's put me in a frame of mind where I could be at peace with myself, my family, my dear friends. I don't have to have outbursts that I took when I did opiates. And it keeps me healthy. I have to test all the products, and all the products are very resounding in effect, yeah.
Now, I have made a video talking about whether or not we should try to replace alcohol with other things. If you click the link up here, you can access that video, and I'll also leave that video in the description below. Now, Tyson currently lives with his third wife. After a casual on and off relationship, the two became serious when Lakia gave birth to his daughter Milan in 2008. The couple married in 2009 in what Tyson has described as a quote, truly life-saving experience. They have 2 children together, while Mike has 5 more from other relationships. Have a great day.